Alongside 2 hours. You ready?
Y'all got this handsomeness for an hour.
Well, I watched the hype videos from finals years past, so I am ready. I am ready
to play.
What do you guys think? Should we take a look back at how these two teams got here? Yes. Let's just remind everybody of the journey, because the Thunder, they rolled through the Grizzlies before gutting out a 7-game series win over Jokic's 5 games in the Western Conference Finals. Now, the Pacers, they used 3 late-game comebacks to out the hobbled Bucks in round 1, then the top-seeded Cavaliers in round 2, and then you got the New York Knicks in the East Finals on the way to their first finals trip since 2000. And we keep saying that it's a surprise that the Pacers are here. Maybe we shouldn't be. These teams have been the best 2 records in the entire NBA since the start of January, including both the regular season and playoffs. 'Twas the night before Game 1. Here's what both teams are talking about.
Staying true to who we are is the reason why we're here, and we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we changed or tried to be something we're not. Once we got here, we've had success doing so, and if we want to keep having success, we have to be who we are.
We know that this is a great team, and I wouldn't want to. If we were to win a championship.
Championship after previously winning 3 in the ABA, while the Thunder, they're seeking their first title since moving to Oklahoma City. Yes, they left the banner and everything back in Seattle. So I want to boil it down here, Udonis. Oftentimes we talk about Game 1 as maybe a feel-out game. What is the question that you have that you're looking to have answered?
Who is going to impose their will? That is the question for me. You have control chaos on both sides of the basketball. You have a team in OKC who is plus 91 in turnover differential, and then you have a team with a guy who's getting 20 points, 15 assists, and no turnovers. He's done that 9 times, which is also historical. Both teams are going to bend. I want to see who's going to break, and that's what it comes down to me.
I thought he was going to say snap. I thought we were doing the bend and snap like Legally Blonde today.
Bend and snap. That probably went over your head. It's all good.
But it's all over mine, too. It went over mine, too.
Between us. It's a girl thing. Look, my biggest question is, will this be SGA's one shining moment? The moment where we have seen him, his career come to fruition, all the hard work pay off. And we've seen iterations of these moments building up, starting with this, versus T-Wolves coaching his team up and showing leadership, then smiling to the Nuggets. All right, guys, I got something. I'm going to have the last laugh. And this play right here, when he needed help, it finally, we found the Robin to his Batman. J-Dub knocking down the 3. What will be the next moment? He already right here in OKC won MVP, won finals, conference finals MVP. What is going to be next in this beautiful story that he's writing?
I'm looking at Chet Holmgren. That's the biggest question, because there was so many question marks coming into this postseason, and they addressed it in the offseason. The Achilles heel of the Oklahoma City Thunder was Chet not being able to play the 5. Well, he's played the 5 position, right? In the last 2 games of the Western Conference Finals, he did that because the Oklahoma City Thunder went small. He had 21 in Game 4, 22 in Game 5, and he's completing that big 3 of J-Dub and SGA, and they're going to have to go small again because of the matchup problems that Indiana, they place in front of you. I'm looking at OKC, and I'm going to say, hey, Chet, you got to go at the 5 spot. Yep. He proved that he could be successful, or the Thunder could be successful with Chet at the 5. His ability to stretch the floor, lob threat at the basket, and rim protection.
Well, what you're talking about is the depth, right, of this Oklahoma City team, which is why, for me, this boils down to this is a matchup of David versus Goliath. It's a tale as old as time. Oklahoma City has run through the regular season. They are historically great. In fact, the Pacers have 18 fewer wins than the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is the largest difference in regular season wins entering a finals matchup since the Celtics against the Rockets. That was all the way back in '81. That was 22 wins. How much, though, Sinead, do you think you can glean from the regular season matchups between these two teams?
You can learn a lot.
All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look. It's time for our electric moment, brought to you by Hyundai. As we look back at the regular season here, back on December 26th, this is the first of 2 matchups here, UD. This is a game that was tight throughout, but SGA, he took over late, 16 points in the 4th quarter.
I mean, coming down right there, a score like that, I know you want to pick up heels on the three because he can get to the midi, but you got to take away that three.
It's tied for his most points in the fourth quarter in his career. The Thunders get the win in this one, and it was just a huge night for SGA that time out against the Indiana Pacers here. 45 points, a staggering of 15 of 22 shooting. He was efficient, and he was lethal. And then the second matchup here, Perk, this is on March 29th. It was much of the same from SGA, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists.
Man, easy. It was too easy, and I'm laughing because you watching them like slice and dice through the defense is like, damn, what else can you do?
I mean, they were thunderstruck, right? That was the theme for Indiana, in large part, Sinead, because of the struggles of Tyrese Haliburton, which he's talked about early on in the year.
Yeah, and when you think about Tyrese Haliburton, when you play him with physicality, when you get him off rhythm, that's when you're really going to create your own advantage. But I also want to highlight Pascal Siakam because they had a unique strategy on him. They gave him space. They want him to shoot from the outside because he's so good getting downhill. Instead, look at that, 9 feet of separation. Now you're going to allow him to close the gap, but you're going to stay strong with verticality. That's a front rim shot. Another option that you have limiting Pascal Siakam is denying him the ball. This is J-Dub right here. Look at the deny, forced to bounce pass. Typically, that's a backdoor layup. Look at the hustle by the Thunder. That's why, Malika, you said truly thunderstruck.
Yeah, it's safe to say that OKC, they dominated the regular season matchups against Indiana, which is why, UD, you're better at this than anybody I know. Because as a average human being, I would walk into this and I would look around and say, dang, if I'm Indiana, I know what happened in the regular season, and I know the odds. I know that we are not supposed to be here. How do you not let it creep into your mind that this is something that we're not supposed to win?
Let it creep in. Listen to everything everybody has to say. Do not. I used to tell all my guys, please cut on ESPN. Please just listen to it.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you everything they say about you and listen to it. And when you hear it, come to the locker room and make sure everybody else heard it.
Yeah.
I used to send out texts to my guys. I record y'all talking about us. Which you was in all the group texts. You was in all the group texts. And I'm letting guys know this is how they feel about us. Yeah. It's us against the world. That kind of mentality.
Right, because in 2018, you're on the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
You're sitting there, you know what you're facing in Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and did you have the thought like, we got to go up against these guys?
Damn right. But I ain't going to let the world know that. But, yeah, I thought that. We got to face KD and Steph. Like, you definitely have doubt, right? But you just got to, you got to see what guys are going to do in the moment. That's why the games are won between the lines. And all of a sudden, you got to see if it's real, right? The Pacers need to see if it's real, which it is. It's real. It's dangerous.
But also, it's nice when you don't have the pressure, when all the expectation is on the other squad. You just pull up and say, I'm going to hoop.
Yes, and when you got a group full of underdogs, this is your chance. This is your chance against all the high draft picks. This is your chance against all those guys who they talk about and who get the commercials.
Right.
They can't help them. The refs can't help them. Their mama can't help them. This is your chance. Now you come down right here and we're looking at SGA. We look at the deception of SGA. I think his intelligence is really undervalued, how intelligent he is. He never goes where you think he's going to go. The screen comes up, he rejects the screen. As a defender, when you turn your head and you got a good offensive player, you turn your head, he rejects and gets down here. Once again, you see the screen. They're looking for the screen. He rejects the screen again. If you're Indiana, you're better off just switching this because there was no contact, so you should just switch it. You stay on the ball, the other guy gets back. Now he gets downhill again.
Yeah.
As great as a basketball player as SGA is, I think his IQ is undervalued. He has a counter to everything. Once he get in the paint, if he made a pull-up jumper, the next time he's going to shot fake you. You're going to go up. He's going to get into your body and get to the free throw line. So his game is not just based on skill set. It's also based on basketball IQ.
And we've seen that evolve. He has the perfect cast around him through the regular season, even since the matchups that we saw against the Indiana Pacers today.
Perfect word, because if the Oklahoma City Thunder were a movie, they'd be the neutralizers, and they have a star cast. But what they do is they take away, they neutralize your strength, and they did this with Tyrese Haliburton. 6.8 drives per game. That was his fewest allowed by any team. They're going to take away his vision. They're going to take away his takes to the paint. Watch, Lou Dort is the matchup, but what I love here is that they take away your vision. This is the guy who has led the postseason in assists. You have 2 people hawking the ball. Also on the backside, there's poor spacing. No one's looking at the ball. What's happening here? Hallie needs some help. They find a post up, and look at how many people are around defending and to secure that rebound. Rebounds win championships. Again, Lou Dort will get hit by a screen, but that's no problem. Shea's going to switch. That's no problem. Hartenstein is there. So you go over there, you see a tough contest. This is an Oklahoma City Thunder team that is great, not because of teams making shots or missing shots.
Right.
It's because they really force contests. Look at these numbers by Lou Dort. Half-court matchups. I mean, like, this is tough. Stephen A. said it before. That's not a basketball player. That's a lineman. linebacker out there.
And that's why you have someone like Mike Conley saying it looks like we may be open on some of these shots, but we actually weren't if you take just one level deeper and take a deeper look at this. We've talked about the guards on both sides. Is there anyone who's going to give love to the big men?
Yeah, me. I got a chance. I got a chance to meet the parents of Miles Turner yesterday.
Oh,
great people.
love that.
I talked to them. They say, Perk, we appreciate the kind words that when you talk about our son. And I was thinking to myself, you really don't know me, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
No, I'm just joking. But I will keep it real.
He's a puppy.
But speaking of Miles Turner, right, like, he is the X factor for the Indiana Pacers. If they're going to have a shot at being in this series, he got to elevate his game. We saw in the first two series against the Bucks, against the Cavs, he was there, leading the league, leading the postseason in block shots. He disappeared in the conference finals. He can't. This is not the time for him to disappear. His shot making needs to be there. The mismatches against the on the post ups needs to be there, and most importantly, he has to anchor that defense.
Yeah.
He has to anchor that defense. That rim protection is needed because OKC don't live by the three, die by the three. They get to the mid-range and they get in that paint.
It's going to be really interesting whether or not they go double big in this series, OKC, because if Hartenstein doesn't have as big of a role as we've seen previously, do you like Miles Turner on Chet? It takes away that rim protection that you've been talking about. These are the types of questions that Rick Carlisle is going to need to answer. A far smarter basketball mind than I. What do you guys think? I think overlooked, underrated. I mean, that's got to be fuel because he's on the biggest stage in sports. Our Andrea Carter takes us inside the mindset that has fueled Tyrese Haliburton's rise. Plus, they've outpaced everyone in their path, but is OKC the team that can finally disrupt Indiana's rhythm? Tim McMahon on the Thunder's plans. And with Big Perk and OKC, you know we had to get a big list.
Let's
and this
go.
time, he's counting down the greatest finals performances.
I think you might appreciate it.
I was going to say, I know.
It's not your list.
I got to do a cameo or something on there.
All right.